Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm so excited because this is my first official layout for the design team using the new Whimsical collection. And I'm going to be honest, I spent way too much time going gaga goo goo over these papers. Every one of them is stunning and I could not decide where to start. I kept looking at them and just looking at them and drooling over them, and the 12 by 12 paper pad is just as gorgeous. It has so many patterns and there's a lot of gold copper foiling on them, but I finally just had to make a decision. So I'm gonna go with this cloud paper and I'm gonna do some fussy cutting. And there's this really adorable cut file from Paige Evans that matches these clouds perfectly, and it's the clouds background, and I'm using the 8.5 by 11 size here. So my thought was I'm gonna fussy cut out a lot of these little clouds and sort of place them inside the open areas of the cloud cut file. And I don't cut out every single one of these, but I pulled the cloud paper from the 12 by 12 paper pad because they are only one-sided, and I wanted to use the back of this cloud paper, which is paper number 15 from the loose papers. And so it's this really gorgeous soft blue color, and I thought that would make a really pretty sky. And I thought I would do kind of a vertical design with the clouds going up most of the center of the page, and then have a photo down in the bottom, kind of at the very bottom of the clouds. And I had 3 photos that I kept kind of bringing in and on the layout. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. I didn't know if I wanted to go with a color photo or black and white. But I am going to add some gesso here. This is white gesso, and I'm just using a palette knife to kind of soften up the middle column of the layout, or of the background, because I'm going to add some color to that, and you're going to be able to see this behind all of the clouds. So I just pulled out some of my shimmers colors here, and I pulled out colors that match the little clouds. I've got like a golden yellow color. I think that's Glorious Day, and this is I believe Spritz Ruby. So I've got some yellows, some pinks, and I'm just kind of spraying it down, scraping it on with my palette knife. I'm not too concerned with how it's going to look because a lot of it's going to get covered up, and so I smush a little bit of it with some plastic packaging, but I mainly just wanted kind of a color wash behind everything. I'm going to add in some Jenny Bee Blue, which is a really pretty turquoise blue color, and I want this to be kind of soft because I don't want it to overpower the clouds because they are so cute and colorful, and I want them to stand off the page. I'm adding in some aqua, which is called Well Blue Me Down. I'm just using my favorite colors. I feel like I use these same colors all the time, but they just seem to match everything, and they are just my go-to colors. Now I wanted to pull in some of that darker purplish pink, so I'm going to use one of my Distress Oxide pads, and that one's called Seedless Preserves, and it's a really deep pink, almost got a purple tint to it. And it's so pretty and rich, and I love that. And you can see how this looks kind of splotchy as I'm making it, but when I put the cut file back on top of it, it looks totally different because a lot of it is covered up. And that's one of my favorite things about using cut files and mixing them with mixed media things is it looks like a big old mess, but then when you add the cut file on top of it, it looks different. So don't let that part of mixed media fool you, because I know a lot of people are intimidated to try it and they always think, oh, it looks terrible, I can never get it to look right. But when you add things back on top of it, it does make it look a lot different. So I'm just going back in with the same colors and adding some splatters, and this is going to soften up once it's dry. And I like to use a paper towel roll just to kind of roll right over it, and it's going to pick up any color that is still damp and kind of soften things up. So this is kind of the idea I was going for. I wanted to put the clouds on top of that, and then just sort of kind of randomly stick clouds on top of the cut file. Now the actual clouds don't match the cut file perfectly. They're not the exact same shape, and I'm okay with that. I wanted it to look kind of wonky and different. I wanted you to be able to see the cut file, but see the little clouds on top of it too. So I'm not trying to back it or make it look perfect. I'm going to set the clouds basically on top of the cut file. I guess my background wasn't done. I'm going back to do more. And that's one of the addicting things about mixed media, is you just don't know when to stop because it's so much fun. You just want to keep splattering and keep spraying, and at some point you have to call it quits, right? I guess I'm not there yet. So I forgot I wanted to add in a little bit of the darker blue color because there are a few clouds that have this deeper blue color, and I'm using another one of the distressed oxides. I can't remember the name of that color. I can't read it from here. But if you want to know which one it is, I will look it up and let you know. And the reason for the gesso, I know I get a lot of questions about, can I do this without gesso? You can, but I wanted it to kind of be a white area so the color would look true to what it really is, and I didn't want it to soak right through the paper. I wanted it to be able to blend and smudge. And the white that I added there is just some white acrylic paint. It's just some white craft cheap paint from Walmart, and I just watered it down a little bit. And I felt, from what I have in all of my stash, I feel like that's the best way to get true bright white splatters, is just to water down some paint, because it's nice and thick and you're going to be able to see it on top of anything, because it's not going to just soak right through the paper because it is paint, a thicker paint. All right, so I'm going to build this again. I think my background is finished. We'll see. Just going to stick some of the clouds on top. I'm not going to cover all of them up because I wanted some of the clouds to remain open, but I am going to add a little bit of adhesive foam behind all of the clouds just to give them some dimension. And what I'm using to do that is just some adhesive foam. It's from Walmart. It's in the craft section, not on the scrapbook aisle, but it's in the same general area. And you can get a pack of 40 sheets. I believe they're 5x7 size, and they're all in different rainbow colors. And one side is sticky, so you just peel it off, stick it down, and then I add glue to the other side, and it works great. And you can cut it at any shape you want, and it's easy to bend if you want to, you know, add it to something that's curved. So I'm going to add some matching thread behind some of the clouds, not all of them, but I picked out a couple of colors of thread that I had that match some of these clouds. And I just love all of these colors. I think this is, I know I say this every time, but I think this is my favorite Paige Evans collection yet. But every time she comes up with a new one, I say that. And then when I go back and reuse stuff, or not reuse, but use stuff from older collections, I remember why that one was my favorite at that time. And you just, she makes such beautiful things, and it's so much fun to create with them. And I just wanted to use everything the first time, and I just couldn't. You know how that goes. So I added, here's my thread. I know it's hard to see. You'll be able to see it later, but I added it in different colors in a couple spots, and I decided to go with this picture. It's color, and it's Paige sitting on the edge of the pool, just kicking and splashing. And I thought it was the perfect size, and it's going to tuck right up in between the clouds. So it was the perfect little size there. And I'm not sure what size photo that is. I never really measure. I get asked a lot what kind of photo printer or photo software that I use, and honestly, I use my very, very old, I'm talking almost 12 years old, it's an HP PhotoSmart printer, and I just edit my photo sizes in the software that came with it, and I really don't even measure. I just click the end of the photo and I can drag it to make it bigger or shrink it down to make it smaller, and I just eyeball it. I print everything, most everything, on 4x6 paper. And yeah, I just eyeball it. I'm not really technical when it comes to that kind of thing. I just wing it. So I'm going to add lots, well, not lots, but some embellishments here. And all of this is from the Whimsical collection. I'm going to use that little sunshine piece that's from the sticker sheet, and then a couple of flowers and leaves from the sticker book. And then I'm going to come in with these amazing, gorgeous, beautiful, all the adjectives, the rainbow mini thickers. Oh my goodness. Need 1,000 packs of those. And I decided that my title is going to be Sunshine All the Time. This is a summer summer photo, so it's a summer layout, but one of the many nicknames for my daughter is Sunshine, and so I thought, yeah, we're going to just be Sunshine all the time for this. So that's going to be my title. And I'm going to just stick that with some foam underneath it right there on the edge. And I did not add any of the foam behind my photo this time. I usually do, but since I wanted to kind of tuck it in and under some of those clouds, I didn't want to add foam to the photo. So I'm just creating a little bit of a cluster around the Sunshine sticker with some flowers, and then I'm going to come in right underneath it and add my journaling. So I think it's almost done. I'm going to use my gold pen just because I wanted to use gold. No other reason. I didn't want any black on there because I just didn't want to darken it up. But there's the final layout. I love how this turned out. I was so excited once I finally came up with an idea and finally just decided what paper I wanted to start with. But I think this is really, really fun. I love how I was able to tie in those clouds with the cut file. And you can see how kind of wonky and messy it is. But I really love how it turned out, and I hope it gives you some inspiration and some ideas to try. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the products or the techniques or anything at all, and I'll be more than happy to answer. So thank you so much for watching and commenting and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Hope you have a great week.